Hi everybody, it's Lasha Ryanko from High Voltage. This particular live today is simply a book that I found in church 2 Sundays ago, and it just caught my eye, and so I'm just going to start reading it. Caring enough to forgive. True forgiveness. Okay. In a world of flawed communication, community is possible. Through understanding others, in a world of painful alienation, community is created by accepting others. In a world of broken trust, community is sustained by forgiveness. Prologue. On the one hand, no relationship exists long without tensions. No community continues long without conflicts. No human interaction occurs without the possibilities of pain, injury, suffering, and alienation. The hurts are always there. The misunderstandings inevitably happen. There is invariably trouble. Without forgiveness, community is only possible where people are safely and cautiously superficial. With forgiveness, we are set free to meet genuinely, to interact authentically, to risk being fully present with each other in integrity. Such forgiveness draws people toward each other. It comes to terms with the past, then allows it to truly be past. It opens the future, but does not determine it, so that people are unable to be living free and spontaneous again. It deals clearly with the present in true repentance, change, and growth. Such forgiveness is more than a benevolent act of superior generosity or a sacrificial act of one way absorbing of the other's debt, or an obedient act of unconditional acceptance. Each of these views emerges from a different understanding of what love is, of what agape is, of what discipleship is, of who compromises community. The biblical love, which is called agape, is equally regard. Such regard is then benevolent, sacrificial, obedient, and it is even more than these. It is also just. It leads to a forgiveness which is the mutual recognition that repentance is genuine and righteous. Relationships are now achieved. Such forgiveness is the final form of love which results in renewed and reconciled community. And when I'm reading this, I'm thinking of family. And then I think of community, and I think of war. Like, for instance, in Ukraine, and in Israel, and I just, Donald Trump, I really, truly believe, doesn't like war. I really believe he does not like war. So that was the prologue. Okay, chapter 1, forgive by realizing wrongdoing. Okay. I trusted that man. I once said, I trust him with my life or my wife. I escaped with my life, but that's all. We belong to the same church, the same social group. He had a good practice as a therapist until I fixed it for him. I was the one who insisted we go for counseling. Jill and me. He preferred to see us individually. When she told me she was moving out and moving in with him, I didn't believe it. Not until I saw them going into his apartment together. I have never, ever hated anyone as much as I did him. Even after my attorney had filed all the briefs and he lost his license to practice because of unethical behavior, I still hated him. It's 4 years now, and I'm no better. Can anybody relate to that? Where you're so angry and you're so enraged? And then she goes on to say, just the thought of her and my stomach is tight with pain and loneliness. One glimpse of him on the street, and I'm ruined for the day. He did me wrong. He did us wrong. Now we're no longer us. In some ways, my life ended then, and I can't let go of the memories. I can't go on alone. Well, I've been wronged. How does one deal with the pain, anger, and injustice felt when wronged by another? First, by reducing the sense of outraged innocence. When angry, most human beings prefer to see the other as the invader, attacker, exploiter, and the self as the innocent victim. Maintaining this definition frees the self from blame and responsibility while laying it solely at the other's doorstep. However, such one-sided injustices are rare among continuing relationships. These are hit-and-run acts of one-way violation of another in which one person is obviously the offender, and this is recognized by both. But in most situations of interpersonal pain, particularly those that occur in the midst of friendships, marriages, work relationships, or communities, families, the ratios of responsibility are assigned show a part of the problem belongs to either and to both. For example, look again at the opening case history. The speaker presents evidence to show that the other two persons in the triangle are obviously the wrongdoers. He has been done wrong. But look again. The marriage in trouble was a union of two people. When the relationship falters, both are responsible. When one partner is open to an outside alliance, both are involved. That's fascinating. And then there's this little chart here. Hang on. How do I do this? And then there's this little chart. I would take a snapshot of that. So I'm going to read a little bit of this every week. I don't know when. But there's a few books on the go right now. This book, Psychology of Secrets. So every day I'll be reading something. And thank you for the 2 people that watched. And if you wouldn't mind giving this a thumbs up if you enjoyed any of this at all. It's a short read of 11 minutes and 15 seconds. Again, my name is Lasha Rayanko. And let's see. I was going to give you this ambiance to look at, or I was going to give you, maybe I could have given you this to look at, but that or that, nah. I'll see you soon. Have a great day, everybody.